وبركاته. نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما أمروا إلا ليعبدوا الله مخلصين له الدين. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: إنما الأعمال بالنيات، أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم، ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح ربي زدني علما. اللهم صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. My dear respected brothers and sisters, we continue inshallah with the conditions and the prerequisites of Salah. We mentioned that there were 6 of them, and we explained purification, covering the aura, facing the Qibla, time, and today inshallah we continue with intention and tahrima with regards to being a prerequisite of Salah. Intention means to make up one's mind firmly in doing an act. It is by intention that worship is being distinguished from habit, as well as one type of worship from another. Such intention takes place in the heart. Such intention takes place in the heart. So what is intention, my dear respected brothers and sisters? Azmul qalb ala al-fi'l. It is that we have the determination that we are going to do something. To understand that, we understand the opposite. Sometimes we are passing by a table, we knock down a glass with our hand because we were just making our normal strides. We will say, I apologize, I did that unintentionally. It means that we did not make up in our minds that I'm going to take my hand and hit that glass. So this is the opposite of intention, unintentional. Now, intentional means that we are making up our minds, azmul qalb, in our hearts. We know this is what we are going to do, alal fi'l, upon an action, the asl of it. Why do we need to do that? The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, al-a'malu bin niyat. Actions are judged by intentions, actions are by intentions. And it is by our intention we will know what we are going to do, and that is what distinguishes worship from habit, as well as one type of ibadat from another. Such intention takes place in the heart. We will speak about afterwards, my dear respected brothers and sisters, the moving of the tongue. But when we speak about intention, intention is in the heart. Intention is not necessarily by our tongues. Many a times we read a book and we will see that we should say when we are performing Salah, Nawaitu an usalliya salata dhuhri. I intend that I perform Salat al-Dhuhr, 4 rakats of fard facing the Qibla, mukhlisan lillahi ta'ala wa ghayra wa ghayra. This, my dear respected brothers and sisters, it is not part of the condition that we have to say it with the tongue. And the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he did not say any type of intention like this for Salah with the tongue. He did make intention, on the contrary, for like at the time of Hajj, he did make certain intentions with the tongue. But for Salah, it is not recorded that he actually moved his tongue and mentioned wordings like these. So therefore, why is it there? The scholars have mentioned that this is something good because it confirms our niyyah. It confirms our niyyah, and sometimes a person is doing something and because of waswasa, now whisperings of shaitan, he does not know where he is. As we say, he does not know from heads or tails what is going on. Right? Yes, mashallah, I came into the masjid to perform salah, but again, sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we get confused. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught us about that. That when we are performing wudu, there's a shaitan there. His name is Walahan. Walahan means to make a person bewildered. Walahan means to make a person deranged. Right? Deranged. The person doesn't know, did I wash my lip once? Did I wash it twice? So these are certain types of diseases. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he told us that when the adhan is called, shaitan goes away like the passing of wind. Then he comes back. What does he come back to do? He comes back to do his job. Distract the believers from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Put things in their mind. When the iqamah is called, shaitan goes away again, but then he comes back. When he comes back, what does he do? He now tries to make a believer think that, you know what, you are doing the right thing. You are performing salah, so therefore now you will get results. What is the results that shaitan promises? The results of, you know what, udhkur kada, udhkur kada. The hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentions, remember this, remember that. Now we are in salah, we are supposed to be concentrating upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we think that, you know what, revelation is coming. We are now remembering where I put that $100 bill. I am now remembering also, I told my wife to search the entire house. And look, all of a sudden, I am performing salah, Allah is giving me answers. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, that is shaitan. Shaitan will come in our salah and he will say, udhkur kada, udhkur kada. Remember this, remember that. But salah is not the place for this, my dear respected brothers and sisters. So therefore, in our salah, we should not try to delve into these types of thoughts and know that they are from shaitan. Concentrate upon our salah, concentrate upon, we are speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in front of us, as the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentions to us. Nevertheless, back to the point is that these are reasons why the scholars have mentioned that it's good that we join our intention with something verbal so we will know. For example, nowadays you get this question as, they ask the muftis, is my salah in order if I make intention when I was home, or I made intention in the wudu the place of making wudu, but when I started my salah, I don't know if I had wudu or not. We will speak about that inshallah in a short while. But this is just to let us understand that there are different reasons why the ulama do not say the moving of the tongue is sunnah, and if they mention it is mustahab, desirable, it means not desirable coming from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but means that it is desirable that alhamdulillah it will take the human being out of problems, in the sense that he would not be confused, and it's the ijtima of the azima, the ijtima of his intention, the ijtima of his heart, what his heart wants to do, and what he has made up that firmly with his mind. But now there can be no doubt because he actually said it. Now the more senses we use while we are going to do something, the more firm it is in our mind. If we forget in the midst of our salah, how much rakats am I performing? I intended to perform 4. Right? So therefore, we knew we said it with our tongue, so probably our minds recollected it from that saying, or our ears heard it when I said, oh Allah, I intend to perform 2 rakats of sunnah salah, fajr faced in the qibla for your sake. Again, it is not sunnah, my dear respected brothers and sisters. It is just to make us understand how it actually works. Then now, the ulama and the fuqaha, they go on to mention how do we know we have actually made that intention? How do we know that we have actually made that intention? If a person stops us and asks us, what are we doing? We should be able to say, I'm performing my salah. What are you doing? Right? We should be able to know at that time what I am doing. So this is what is intention, my dear respected brothers and sisters, and we are just explaining it so we understand what is actually intention. Right? This is what intention means. Intention means, like, I am going to pick up this book. A person holds my hand. What are you doing? I'm going to pick up the book. What do you mean, what am I doing? Right? So in other words, because I gave that answer, it means this was my intention. Right? So just as, sometimes a person is not supposed to do something, right? They have some people, they bite their nails, right? Some people, they pull out their hair. Different people do different things, right? As a custom, right? They will start to scrape and nib and write on the desk. So they are looking at the teacher and they are just doing like that. What are you doing? So I'm paying attention. But what is your hands doing? And they didn't really realize that their hand is actually scribbling on the desk or on their book. So this is the difference, my dear respected brothers and sisters, between intentionally and unintentionally. When we do something intentionally, it means I know what I'm doing. I'm looking at you. It may seem to you that I'm scribbling, but I understand totally what you are saying. So that is the difference. One is that we are unaware, the other thing is that we are aware. So this is intention, azmul qalb. But the reason why we are explaining it is because, one, this is a prerequisite of salah, right? This is a prerequisite of salah, so it means that we have to have this. And we will go on to explain different maslas as they come along, inshallah. So the fuqaha mention, as is mentioned in Hidayah, وَهُوَ مُتَرَدِّدٌ بَيْنَ الْعَادَةِ وَالْعِبَادَةِ. As we mentioned in Mufti Shabir's English kitab also, it is that which distinguishes habit from worship. It means that Imam Malik rahmatullahi alayhi is of the opinion that the banding of hands in salah is not sunnah. He is of the opinion irsal, the hands are the side. Even if we band our hands, sometimes a person stands up, this is the banding of the hand, right? Or if a person does like this, sometimes we will stand and we will give a speech and we are holding our hand. So if we are at our homes and we are not necessarily in the lines and we are not hearing the qiraat, probably a person may not know what the person is doing. So a person can just be standing looking like that, watching outside, because sometimes a person is performing, when they perform salah, they do it like that. And they are looking like this and looking like that. And when they are saying Allahu Akbar, the difference is that they have said Allahu Akbar, but they look in the same position. So it is that which differentiates from habit from ibadat. The habit, we stand, we normally stand. That's our habit. We normally stand. But our intention is that which will differentiate the person standing with that intention of salah and the person standing next to him and he is actually just guarding, just supervising, ensuring that nothing goes wrong. So it is only if a person is paying attention to them, the two of them are standing side by side. One of them is looking at the luggages, the other one is performing a salah. If a person looks closely, then he will understand that, this guy is going down in ruku and sajda, but the other guy is not going down. But when they stand up, they look like they are in the same posture, not so. So therefore, it seems that the both of them are doing the same thing. But they are not doing the same thing. One is performing salah and one is doing that which is habitual of standing up. So the intention is that which will make the person different from the one performing salah. And so many different examples, my dear respected brothers and sisters. I am bringing that which comes to mind, inshallah. Also, intention is that which will differentiate one type of worship from another, and we will come up to that a bit, inshallah. We will come up to that a bit. وَالْمُتَقَدِّمُ عَلَى التَّكْبِيرِ كَالْقَائِمْ عِنْدَهُ. Now we started to speak about this. intention, we had intention from our homes to come and perform Salah. The question is, we had that intention home or we had that intention by the wudu khana, and now we are coming to perform Salah. What occurs with that intention if we stand and we do not renew our intention? So, what the ruling is that if we had that intention before, it can work for the Salah as long as we do not do such an action which is not part of the Salah. Which is not part of the Salah. Like talking, eating, drinking, going and fix something in the masjid. You know, because we are breaking our intention to come and perform Salah. So, this is what we were speaking about before. Sometimes a person asks the question, when I was by the wudu khana, I was sure I was going to perform Dhuhr Salah. But when I started and then I said Allahu Akbar, I questioned myself. Is it that I really made intention to come and perform that Dhuhr Salah? So sometimes shaitan puts it there, or sometimes our own nafs with regards to what are we doing. So the Mufti's answer, my dear respected brothers and sisters, for example, Mufti Taqi rahmatullahi alayhi, Mufti Taqi Usmani rahmatullahi alayhi, if we are doing an action which is the continuation of which is Salah, it is attached to Salah. For example, wudu is attached to Salah, not so. Because we have to perform wudu in order to perform our Salah. But for example, we were sitting outside the masjid, then we came by the wudu khana and we made intention. Why did we come inside? We are going to perform Maghrib Salah. Otherwise, we didn't come to sit down and chat in the back of the masjid, or chat in the outside, whatever have you, or go and look to see if the ceiling needs painting. The intention that we left outside with is to come into the masjid. So, what the scholars have mentioned, the bringing forward of intention upon our takbir is like we have our takbir when we are standing for the Salah. So, we are making wudu, we come into the masjid, Allahu Akbar. Sometimes we forget. Now the person starts the Salah, the question poses in his mind, do I have intention to perform this Maghrib Salah? Yes, you have the intention to perform Maghrib Salah in this scenario, because why? You did not do an action which cuts off Salah. It is an action that leads up to Salah. So they have mentioned things like walking to the Musalla, that is an action towards the Salah. Performing wudu and coming to the masjid, that is an action towards the Salah. We are not speaking about performing wudu half an hour before in our home, and then we go to the shop and we go and do this and we go and do that and we come back, Allahu Akbar. Right? We are not speaking about that. We are speaking about, my dear respected brothers and sisters, it's the closeness of time we are talking about. So you are right there. Adhan is calling, you are right there. You are performing Salah. Right? People are saying, wow, look how bright it is and we are going to pray Maghrib. So everybody understands it is Maghrib time, not so? We could not have made a mistake that we are actually going to perform Fajr Salah. So look how it can happen. Look what is the opposite. If we are going to perform Maghrib Salah, and we made an intention to perform Isha Salah, our Salah is invalid. Our Maghrib Salah is invalid. Why? We made a firm intention to perform Isha Salah. But what Salah are we performing? Maghrib. So therefore we have to do over our Salah because we made a mistake. We thought it's actually Isha's timing. Right? So look at a practical example also. What happens is that seems to common that a person will make a mistake with that. You are here for Maghrib, the Adhan is calling Khair. Generally speaking, we will not make a mistake. But look what happens, and this is where the question comes. Sometimes a person is doing something whereby their mind is occupied. Right? Like take for example, a person is sleeping. And you know we say that the person get up in a kind of manner, in a kind of crazy manner. The person get up, perform wudu, and then he comes into a room and performs Salah in a direction of other than the Qibla. Why? Because as we say, right, the person got up, you know, they got up kind of bewildered in a crazy state, right? and they weren't too much aware of what is going on. So because the person got up in that manner, he faced a direction, this is the northeast, he faced the west, and he performed salah. Will he have salah? He will not have salah. Because why? The prerequisites we did is what? You have to face the direction of the Qibla. But he made that mistake, not intentionally, but he made it because he got up in such a manner, as we say in our local terms, he get up kind of stupid. Right? He got up in a foolish way, he didn't really know what's going on. That is just the terminology for us to understand that, you know what, the person get up and he started walking downstairs and he walking outside, but what the man doing? He's supposed to come and eat his breakfast. You know, then people hear him out and then he realize what is going on. So this is what happens, right? So just trying to draw different examples, my dear respected brothers and sisters, for us to understand this masla. Otherwise, a person is like, you know what, we always have our intention. How can this be a condition? No, we don't always have our intention. Sometimes different things can prop up that makes it that we have to verify what we are going to do. But you know what happens is that we take intention for granted. We take intention for granted, so it's like, so of course all of us come and perform our salah. That's why we came to perform our salah, right? So, وَالْمُتَقَدِّمُ عَلَى التَّكْبِيرِ كَالْقَائِمِ إِنَّهُ we came by the wudu khana to perform our wudu. Why? Because we heard the adhan and we were coming to perform salah. So the walking to the masjid does not break our intention. We come, we say Allahu Akbar. Why are we here to perform the Maghrib salah? So a person asks the question now, do I have intention for Maghrib? The Mufti's answer, yes. Why? Your intention to walk into the masjid was to perform the Maghrib salah. You did not do an action which broke that. As opposed to now, a man came into the masjid, he was painting the masjid. So, painting the masjid, adhan is calling, he is coming for salah, but sometimes to him it didn't really make a difference between adat and ibadat. Because why? He was always coming inside the masjid, taking up a bucket of paint and going outside, and doing different things in the masjid, then going back outside. So for one particular salah, he came and he performed 4 rakats, but he thought it is dhuhr because he thought it is dhuhr salah that he was performing, but it was actually asr salah. If he performed salah with that intention, his asr salah will not be valid, right? Because he performed dhuhr, and he honestly thought his intention was to perform dhuhr, but the people were performing asr. He does not have any salah. He has to repeat back his dhuhr salah, right? Or the asr salah, as the case may be. The point is, his intention must be there, and we will come up to that a bit, inshallah. But this is just to show us, if a person is doing something else, right? They are doing something else, they are doing another action. He did not come in like everybody else who were just making wudu and coming in here and said Allahu Akbar. He came in here to change his bucket, his paint bucket. And he said, you know what, everybody is praying, but I get the salah too. But his intention, he didn't know whether it is day or night, because he is painting whole day and he is just tired, right? He didn't go outside to see whether it is bright or dark, and inside the masjid is dark. So he just had an intention for another salah, 4 rakats of Isha. And then he sees everybody going after they perform their 2. He sees some people performing 3 rakats afterwards, which is their witr, and he's like, what are they doing? I thought it is Maghrib salah. So obviously his intention was not there, because he honestly is admitting, what are these people doing? Why are they praying more? Right? Is it awabin, but then they are performing like 3? So now he comes to realize, look, it is Isha time, right? And he's totally, a bit deranged, probably with the smelling of the paint, etc. Right? It is just by way of example. So if the person woke up in a manner that he really didn't know what is going on, and he intentionally performed asr instead of dhuhr, he thought that I thought I performed dhuhr salah already. He intentionally performed asr, 4 rakats. It is within the dhuhr timing, but his intention was to perform what? Asr salah. His salah will not be valid. Why? Intention was not there, right? So if we had intention before we are going to perform Dhuhr Salah, we made wudu there and we came here, Allahu Akbar, no question. Why? There was no action that cuts off from our wudu to Salah, and making wudu, walking to the masjid is connected to the Salah itself. Right? It is a build-up, so to say. But painting, cutting carpet, cutting a piece of wire, joining it, all these things are not connected to Salah. So when you come here, right, you start to fix the curtains and so on. Fixing curtains has nothing to do with Salah, right? So therefore, you fix the curtain and you're thinking about, you know what, our curtains are not like the curtains in Nur Islam Masjid, or it's not like the curtains in the other places. So our intention has changed. Our intention is not anymore, I'm going to come here to perform Salah. It is like we have broken our intention, right? So when we break our intention, we have to renew our intention in our hearts. What am I going to do? I am going to perform Fard of Dhuhr, Fard of Maghrib, Fard of Isha, etc. So having the intention before is like standing with that intention, inshallah. As long as we do not find an action which is not connected to Salah, right? It's not connected to Salah. Eating, one last example, inshallah. We came, but somebody was eating. Normally, some persons might be eating at the time of Maghrib. Why? Because sometimes a person broke their fast quickly, and now they are eating their food before they come to perform Maghrib Salah. So, Asr Salah happened like that. It was a cloudy day. It was dark. We ran into the masjid. We saw somebody eating. They said, come quick for a bite. Right? And we started to eat with them. We came into the masjid. We thought it's Maghrib. Oh, Allah intend to perform 3 rakat of Maghrib Salah. Lo and behold, we see that the Imam getting up after the 3rd rakat. And we are like, wait, why is the Imam not sitting down? And then we realize, oh my God, it's not Maghrib, it's Asr. Right? But we intended honestly to perform Maghrib Salah. Our Salah will not be valid yet. Why? Al-a'malu bin niyat. We intended to perform Maghrib, and with Maghrib we are performing, we are not intending to perform Asr. So therefore, al-a'malu bin niyat, our intention must be there. Then another masla is now, وَلَا مُعْتَبَرَ بِالْمُتَأَخِّرَةِ مِنْهَا عَنْهُ. There is no consideration to a delayed intention from it. لِأَنَّ مَا مَضَى لَا يَقَعُ عِبَادَةً لِعَدْمِ النِّيَّةِ وَفِي الصَّوْمِ جُوِّزَتْ لِلضَّرُورَةِ. Now, take for example, 2 people are playing. They are playing a game, just like our children play hoop, and a person is going to touch them, so they become worried. Again, just by way of example, so we can understand the masla, inshallah. So the person says, even if a husband is playing with his wife, for example, and then now the person says, Allahu Akbar. So it will either stop the argument, or the person will not continue fighting with the other individual. So they will think to their minds now, when the person sees me in Salah, they will stop. So the person just looks frantically at the person coming to them. You know, like when children are playing hoop, and they are trying to do anything to get to the safe point, right? So the person says, Allahu Akbar. And then now, it's like, well, what am I doing? I'll perform 2 rakats of nafil. So the intention is delayed, right? The intention is delayed. This is not permissible at all, and this would not be counted as salah, right? Why? Because the person thought to himself, you know what? That person will spare me if he sees me performing Salah, Allahu Akbar. No, what am I performing? Probably I should perform 2 rakat of Tawbah, or 2 rakat of Salat al-Hajjah, and then I continue, right? With that, no, I'm not speaking it, but I am intending it. Even then, that will not be valid. So this is what is meant, my dear respected brothers and sisters, that our intention cannot be delayed from when we started. We cannot say, Allahu Akbar, and now, in our minds, we are not moving our tongue. It's Fajr time. Better I make this Sunnah, right? Or it's Dhuhr Salah. Better I make this 2 rakats of Tahiyatul Wudu, and then afterwards I will perform another 2 rakats, inshallah. Or I'm performing 4 rakats of Nafil. Thereafter I will start back and make 4 rakats of Dhuhr Salah, inshallah. So we cannot do that. As opposed to Fasting. Fasting in Ramadan. Fasting in Ramadan, it's also an act of ibadat. Al-a'malu bin-niyat. We also have to have our intention for fasting, not so? But alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this deen of Islam very easy. So sometimes you have mistakes. You have people who will not be aware in this present day and age of technology. Some people might not be aware it is the first of Ramadan because they forgot to look for the moon, right? And many people are unaware of when to look for the moon. And sometimes you may have a situation whereby one Muslim in the midst of non-Muslims, and they are not sure if the moon was sighted or not. So they wake up in the morning, they go to work as usual, right? And let's draw an example. The person woke up, forgot whether it is the 29th of Sha'ban or whatever have you. Woke up late, didn't have breakfast, went to work. Lo and behold, he got a call or he got a text, WhatsApp, whatever have you, from his friend. How is the fast going? He writes back, what fast are you speaking about? He said, don't be joking, guy. It's the first of Ramadan. Right? He said, really? Is it the first of Ramadan? Now, he never intended at Fajr time to fast. But he said, you know what? I'm a lucky guy. I didn't brush my teeth this morning. I was so late for work. I couldn't eat anything. I just grabbed my clothes and I ran to work. I said I will get tea and coffee at the office. Right? But I didn't have time to do it as yet. Right? So the question is, does he have his fast? Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. Because of the nature of it, the Sharia of Islam has deemed that he has his fast. Right? So in this particular instance, now mashallah he can intend, he is fasting in Ramadan. Right? And that will be in order. Because of the nature of fasting, Allah and the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has made it easy upon us. You have situations whereby people are not aware. They don't know if the moon is sighted or not. But we can't get too much into that masla inshallah, because that's a technical thing and it goes in deep also. But the reason why we brought that here, because it is in Hidayah also, and also for us to understand, when we understand the opposite, we will understand the other point inshallah. Right? So we can't start with Salah and then say, what Salah am I performing? No. We cannot be, our intention cannot be delayed. We have to stand, we have our intention, and then perform our Salah. Right? And then perform our Salah. وَالشَّرْطُ أَن يَعْلَمَ بِقَلْبِهِ أَيِّ صَلَاةٍ يُصَلِّي. What is the condition? We know with our hearts what Salah we are going to perform, and that's what I mentioned before. It's like if we were to be stopped, we know what Salah we are performing. Right? If we had to break the Salah for any reason, we know, look, we were performing our Asr Salah, we have to start over now. Right? Now, we continue with the notes here. Intention for performing a specified farz salah will suffice for the validity of a farz salah, whether ada'an or qada'an. Similar is the ruling for wajib salah. What it means, my dear respected brothers and sisters, is that, as is mentioned in Hidayah, فَلَا بُدَّ مِن تَعْيِينِ فَرْضٍ كَالظُّهْرِ مَثَلًا لِإِخْتِلَافِ الْفُرُوضِ. Dhuhr Salah and Asr Salah is for farz. So if we are going to perform Dhuhr Salah, our intention must be Dhuhr. If we made a mistake, there are two things. One is that we can make a mistake by the tongue. Maulana Shafari Thanvi rahmatullahi alayhi says, if we just make a mistake by the tongue, I intend to perform Asr, but I know it is Dhuhr, then it's just a mistake of the tongue that can be waived inshallah. Because our intention was, I am going to perform Dhuhr Salah. But if it is Dhuhr Salah, and for some reason or it is Asr Salah, and for some reason we made a mistake and we intended to perform Dhuhr, it will not work. Why? It is Fard. For Fard Salah, we must have a specific intention what we are going to perform. For Fard Salah, we must have a specific intention of what we are going to perform. We understand this, inshallah? Right? Wajib Salah also, Witr Salah, Eid Salah, we can't just intend, well, we are going to perform Nafil Salah. No. Take for example now, we perform according to the Hanafis, we perform our Isha Salah, and then we came and another Jamaat were going to perform Isha Salah. We can join that Jamaat of Isha Salah with the intention of what? Nafil. Whether we had an intention or not, it doesn't matter, because we performed our Fard already. For the first Fard, our intention must be clear. I'm going to perform 4 rakat of Fard. When I came here afterwards and I found this Jama'ah is going to perform Isha Salah again, I can join with the intention of Nafil. But I don't have to be too hard and fast about my intention. Right? Because why? Nafil is Nafil. Nafil is optional. So it is not as strict as the Fard. So for the Fard, we have to intend, I am going to perform 4 rakat of Fard of Dhuhr in our hearts. Right? Intention for performing Salah will suffice for the validity of Sunnah or Nafil Salah. Nafil Salah, any intention will work. Allahu Akbar. And then now I realize, you know what, I wasn't too specific with what I'm going to perform. No problem, Nafil Salah will work. There is no specific niyyah for Sunnah or Nafil Salah. Right? So we can have a general intention. Right? Because why? As long as it is valid time for Salah, we can perform any amount of rak'ah. Any amount of rak'ah. Salatul Hajjah, Nafil Salah, etc., etc. Right? So for Nafil Salah, Sunnah Salah, we can have any type of intention. Intention of following the Imam is also essential upon the followers for the validity of their Salah performed in congregation. Now, coming up to a few maslas here. That when we are following the Imam, we must have intention for the Imam, to follow the Imam. We must have intention to follow the Imam. Why? Our Salah is connected to the Salah of the Imam. And the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Al-Imamu dhaminun. The Imam is responsible. Responsible means responsible for the Salah of the community. So when we intend to follow him in Salah, our Salah will be in connection with his Salah. So when we are going to follow the Imam, we should also have intention. We must have intention to follow the Imam in order that our Salah be valid. If we do not intend to follow the Imam, then we do not have any Salah with regards to following the Imam. The intention of leading the Salah is not compulsory upon the Imam, but he may do so to receive more blessings. He may do so to receive more blessings. So when a person is leading Salah, he does not necessarily have to make intention for meals. But if he does so, it is better for more rewards. And sometimes the question comes, a person is performing his own Salah, but then he sees somebody comes to his side, but he didn't intend them. If he didn't intend them, no problem. Their Salah will be valid, because the Imam does not have to make intention for the Muqtadi, but the Muqtadi must make intention to follow the Imam. Right? The Muqtadi must make intention to follow the Imam. But as we said, he can do so to receive more blessings. Al-a'malu bin-niyat. If we intend to lead people, then we will get the reward for imamat. If we don't intend, we will not get the reward for imamat. But people can come and join us, and they can follow us as long as they have their intention. Their Salah will be in order, inshallah. It is, however, compulsory upon the Imam to make intention to lead women in Salah. It is compulsory upon the Imam to lead women in Salah. if we are going to lead salah and we know that there may be women in the jama'ah, we must have intention for women in order for the women's salah to be valid. If we do not intend the women, their salah will not be valid. Right? If we do not intend to lead women, their salah will not be valid. Intention of performing a certain number of rak'ah for any salah, and the intention with specification of nafil or sunnah salah, and the expression of the heart by the tongue are not compulsory, but may be done to create firmness in intention. And this is what we explained before, that mashallah, in order to create firmness in our intention, then we can make our intention by the tongue. Oh Allah, I intend to perform 4 rakat of fard, Isha salah, leading males and females. Intention to perform an act only for the pleasure of Allah is a purified in intention. The blessings of any act depends upon the purification of intention. So what it means, my dear, what is being said here, my dear respected brothers and sisters, our intention should be pure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-a'malu bin niyat, Allah will bless us upon our intentions. The more sincere our intention is, the more reward we will get, inshallah. We continue with the last prerequisite of salah, and that is tahrima. The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what is tahrima? Tahrima means to say Allahu Akbar. Tahrima means to make all things out of salah prohibited in salah by uttering the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tahrima, it doesn't necessarily mean specifically to say Allahu Akbar, but it means to recite, utter a praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that makes things out of salah prohibited in salah. Example, by saying Allahu Akbar, such takbir is called takbirut tahrima. Tahrima, we know as haram, harima, tahrima, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَرَبَّكَ فَكَبِّرْ, and your Lord, glorify Him. وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another ayat, mention the name of Allah, then perform salah. So, tahrima is something that is compulsory also. It's a prerequisite of the salah. And we are doing our normal things. We are talking. We can stand facing the direction of the Qibla. It can look like we are devoted to Allah. And yes, we are doing ibadah because we are pondering over Allah. But how do we enter into the sanctity of salah? The Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, tahrimuha at-takbir. In order to enter into the sanctity of salah, we say Allahu Akbar. Now when we say Allahu Akbar, the talking that we were doing before becomes prohibited. The eating that we did before becomes prohibited by the uttering of Allahu Akbar. So the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, tahrimuha at-takbir. Saying what gets a person into the sanctity of salah is reciting a praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like Allahu Akbar. It is compulsory to recite the tahrima for the validity of salah. In other words, a person cannot just say, well, you know what, I will just remain silent, join my hand and follow the Imam. He will, even though he looks like he is doing what everybody else is doing. See how we are differentiating between habit and ibadat? Intention. He looks like what everybody else is doing, but he didn't say Allahu Akbar. He didn't say a praise of Allah that would enter him into the salah. So therefore he has no salah. Right? So uttering Allahu Akbar, uttering a dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is essential, compulsory, in order for the validity of the salah. Lifting the hands at the time of tahrima is not compulsory, but it is a sunnah act, commendable. When we lift our hands for salah, Allahu Akbar, the lifting of the hand is sunnah. The lifting of the hand is sunnah. What is compulsory? What we say, the moving of the tongue, Allahu Akbar. that is compulsory. Right? Note, owing to the closeness in time between the tahrima and the actual commencement of salah, some jurists consider the tahrima as one of the compulsory constituents of salah rather than one of the conditions of the validity of salah. This is just a technical debate, my dear respected brothers and sisters, that some scholars are of the opinion this point here is actually in the next compulsory elements of salah. It's in the next section and not in the prerequisites. We are speaking about the prerequisites and then we will enter into salah. So because of the closeness, we are basically on the border. We are on the border of entering in the salah, so we are going to come to the compulsory elements of salah afterwards. So because now we were speaking about the prerequisites, wudu, intention, facing the Qibla and time, now we are going to actually talk about the actual salah in itself. But the bridge in between, the border, was to say Allahu Akbar, and now we enter into the salah. So some scholars are of the opinion tahrima is actually from amongst the compulsory elements in salah. Some scholars are of the opinion it is in the prerequisites of salah. There is really no dispute because both of them are equally important. They are essential. Everybody agrees upon that, right? Just there's a differentiation of whether it is a prerequisite, whether it is a condition of salah, or whether it is from amongst the fara'id of salah, right? Whether it is from amongst the fara'id of salah. And of course, we will mention at this point also, intention, we can have that in our heart. Oh Allah, I intend to perform 4 rakats of Fard, Isha. I can do that, as we say in our minds. We can do that with regards to that. For takbir or tahrima, we cannot close our mouth and start salah. We will not have any salah. In order for us to have our salah, we must say, وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. Mention the name of your Lord. How does mentioning occur? By movement of the tongue. Right? By movement of the tongue. So we have to move our mouth and say, Allahu Akbar. Right? Allahu Akbar. We have to move our tongue. If we do like this, we have no salah. Why? We didn't start. We didn't start with that prerequisite or that compulsory element of the salah by saying Allahu Akbar. Right? So this, just a recap again, the 6 prerequisites of salah that we have started with and we have completed today, alhamdulillah. 1 is purification, 2 covering the awrah, 3 facing the Qibla, 4 time, 5 intention, and 6 tahrima. Right? So these are the prerequisites of salah. We will continue with the compulsory elements of salah, inshallah, in the next day's session. We will continue next day, inshallah. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum.